How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It's InGame Live Game Day here on a fabulous Football Friday. Yes, not football just because it's previewing the games coming up this weekend. We actually have three games going on tonight. Two about to kick off here in a little bit, plus the Conference USA game, which is already underway. I'm Scott Wetzel alongside Dave Sharapan for the next two glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We got college football. We got opposite picks coming back at the bottom of next hour. We got some college basketball, a little NBA, Dave, a little NHL. We got Colby Dan. You got your boy Newbie coming on. Cam Stewart's back from vacation. Who returns from vacation on a Friday? Hello, Cam. What are you doing, brother? But he's back. So we got the full house tonight. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, a lot's going on. I mean, UNLV is playing for the Mountain West Championship in Las Vegas. No, it's in Boise. But, man, there's a buzz around town. It's great. I can't wait. It's going to be on while we're here. This is going to be fun. And there's some decent college basketball games going on right now. We got NBA, yes. We have NHL, yes. But we have the last, real day of college football tomorrow. And championship game all day leading up to the game at night. And, Morency was out of control last year rooting for Michigan because that was his team, his school, all this other stuff. I am beyond excited. I can't wait. As a Penn State grad, 1993, at the Rose Bowl in 1995, when Kajana Carter took the opening handoff and ran where Keith Jackson made the call, where he said, Kajana Carter, gone. And he ran 80 yards for a touchdown. Penn State won 38-20. I brought back all the memories. I even brought back this T-shirt, Wetzel. It's the 2016 East Division Penn State Big Ten Champs T-shirt. I had hair the last time this thing, was worn. And
what the heck is an East Division champion? They actually printed shirts to win the East Division? What is that?
Listen, this was a gift from my mother-in-law back in the day.
Can't turn it down.
I couldn't turn it down. I saved it all this time because it's a relic. There's no more divisions. There should be. But Penn State is in the game, and they're playing Oregon, and I can't wait. I'm hoping at some point during the next 2 hours, you convince me that Penn State could actually win because you've been smoking hot. It's probably in opposite picks.
It is.
And I knew it. I can't wait.
It
I can't wait to see it. There's so many things to talk about today. Opposite picks, all of that stuff. You're looking great at the beach house. Everything's comfortable there at the beach house. You ready to go for the next 2 hours?
Ready to go. Ready to go. Now take your Penn State fandom out of the equation.
Yes, sir.
If you're only going to watch one tomorrow, Penn State, Oregon, or Georgia, Texas, or maybe one of the others.
Why do I have to pick one?
We're a national show here, and you got one thing. You got a wife. You got 3 kids. You got bills. You got this. You got Christmas around the corner. Last time I checked, you got responsibilities. You got to get the Christmas tree. You got to do the decorating. You got to clean the house. You got family and friends coming over. You think I'm giving you as your wife? You think I'm giving you 12 hours to watch football Saturday and Sunday? Not happening, Mr. Sharapan. You got one game. Which one?
It's probably the SEC game. I'm not going to lie. It's got to be the SEC game. I mean, I'm just saying, only because both teams are in.
Right. So is Penn State, Oregon.
Yeah,
Both
I mean,
teams are in.
but like, is George? I guess Georgia's in. That's fine. You can't penalize them. They're going to have all the losses. I would make a case if they get blown out, and there's other games are competitive and close. Like, I don't know if we need to see Georgia in there too. Like, they're trying to find a way to get Alabama in there. And yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the most fun game that no one's talking about is the Big 12 game. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning here. We're going to have breakfast with football and the Big 12 championship in Texas. Arizona State and Iowa State, if you'd have told me like before the season that you thought that these two teams would be playing for the Big 12 championship, I wouldn't have believed you. And I'd have asked, if you were all there. This is great. This is going to be a great game. Look at the total. I don't know. You get Sparky or you Cyclone? What about this game?
Yeah. That's the one. Really, if you take everything out of fandom and all that stuff, that's actually the one that means everything. Like Texas, Georgia, more than likely, even though we don't think so, or we don't think they deserve it, but Georgia's probably going to be in, barring a 4-0 loss, right? Penn State, Oregon, winners in, obviously losers clearly in. It's the Iowa State, Arizona State loser that's out. And not only is the winner in, the winner, I think, will leapfrog Boise State because this will be one more quality win that Boise State does not have. And I think that's going to not only get the winner in, it's going to get them a bye. So everything, and then the loser is clearly out. So, and it's Dr. Pepper, and I love Dr. Pepper. So that's the one.
Dr. Pepper? You're right.
I know who doesn't like Dr. Pepper, right? And those commercials are great, right? With Boswell and everything. Yeah. I was surprised that the viewers.
The Dr. Pepper commercials were tremendous. You remember, I'm a Pepper, you're a Pepper. He's a Pepper, be a Pepper too. I mean, come on. That was good. Like, again, we're showing our age a little bit. I don't think they do that anymore, but you could go back and find those. Those are awesome. I don't know. I don't feel strongly about a side. I really, really don't in that game. I mean, the game tonight, Boise and UNLV, you're talking about, the team jumping Boise. Are you advancing Boise tonight? Already? Like, no. You think UNLV can't win?
No, I wouldn't go that quick. But I will tell you this: they're just kicking off. So is Tulane and Army. So let's break those down for a second. So Boise has not only won the regular season matchup 29-24, not only last year's championship game against UNLV, they've beaten UNLV 8 straight. Oh. Now, this has not been like good UNLV teams, so sometimes you got to understand it's not like they have some kind of hex over UNLV. It's just that, UNLV has been awful. So now we're asking UNLV in the biggest spot to break an 8-game losing streak. Boise's won 9 straight heading into this game. 12-2 since last year, 9-5 against the spread. Underdogs, here's 2 for Rebel fans. Underdogs 8-3 against the spread in Mountain West Championship games. So we got a history of the underdog, holding its own. And they held Ashton Genty, their star running back, to only 128 yards rushing in 33 carries. That's the lowest total he had this year when he had at least 20 carries. So they did a pretty good job against him. Now, they still lost the game, and they still gave up 29 points, but at least it wasn't Gentry, running for 250 yards. So
very untimely turnover in that game that flipped the momentum of that game. UNLV was there. Yeah, it was a turnover late in the first half that resulted in a 7-yard line start of a drive for Boise. They threw an interception in their own, shadow of their own goalpost, and Boise went right in. It flipped the whole momentum of the game, and then it got extended by 2 scores, and it was done, and they had to come back, and there wasn't enough time. I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. Total's really high. I thought the total was high in this game.
57.5.
Yeah.
I thought, I liked the total, to tell you the truth, because the first game went under, but the first game went under because the final 12 minutes of the fourth quarter, I forget what happened, but there was no scoring. That's so weird. Like, I don't think that's going to happen again. So I'm counting on more points being scored. So I'm kind of leaning towards the over on that one, though, Dave.
Okay. I got under 58.5.
All right. We'll take a look at that more, and then we got the Army Tulane game kicking off here in a bit as well.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell is one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of what does it mean like for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back InGame Live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave just getting underway, looking at some of these college football games. So the first game, we got Jacksonville State 14-3 over Western Kentucky. They started at 7 o'clock. Not exactly sure why the other two started at 8 o'clock, why they didn't stagger them, but competing networks, I suppose. So 14-3 Jacksonville State with 2 early touchdowns, no scoring over the last about 5-6 minutes or so. They're laying 15.5 as a 5-point favorite going in. Did like them. I don't know how they lost to Western Kentucky last week, but they did. So I like going with the team that lost. Boise and UNLV just underway. No score there. Literally 2 minutes in. Same thing with Army and Tulane, Dave. So Army Tulane, I'll go there. Some really crazy numbers for how good Army has been this year. How about 43 penalties all season in 12 games. That's 3 penalties basically a game. I mean, there are NFL teams that get 43 penalties in 1 week. If you're the Raiders, for goodness sakes, right? I mean, how about 5 turnovers? 5 all season in 12 games. And this is my favorite one. Guess how many, little pop quiz in 12 games, guess how many 3-and-outs Army had this year? And I will tell you they had 4 against Notre Dame. So that's part of your
Okay, so 4 in 1 game. So there's probably, I just saw 1 for UNLV. So 12 games, they probably had, if they had 4 in 1 game, 3 in the others, 32.
Not even close.
22.
Closer, but not really close.
They had 4 in 1 game and they had less than 20 3-and-outs.
Yeah. Well, one more crack. 15. 15 in 12 games. You know, in 4 against Notre Dame, so 11 in 11 games. We're talking about, possession. What, you get the football 9, 10 times, 11 times a game, depending on, the game and everything. In college, you get a little bit more with the stoppages. I mean, how crazy is that? That's how dominant this Army team has been. They get 4.5, 5 points tonight at home. It's freezing here in New York. I can only imagine what it's like in upstate New York. I looked at the temperatures, the forecast anyway. It's supposed to be in the mid-20s tonight. Tulane, warm weather team, is going to go into New York and be able to throw the football. They're going to be freezing their you-know-what's off. I love Army in this game. I don't know if there's going to be any points. But I got a feeling by the second half, this Tulane team, Dave, is going to be freezing, saying, get us the hell out of here. You want the championship? Go ahead. I'm freezing. I'm going back inside. I'm not tackling anybody. I just want that clock to run. So I do like Army a lot in this game.
I'll take your word for it. I'm so focused on all this other stuff with the UNLV tie, with living here in Vegas, and the Penn State tie, that there's certain things that just get kind of passed by or omitted. And for me tonight, this was one of them. So I'm going to trust your judgment. We'll keep an eye on this in game to see if there's any, betting opportunity to jump in or out. I was telling you, UNLV went 3-and-out pretty quick and punted, and now Genty just took off a nice run for Boise, at least 20 yards on the first scrimmage for them. That doesn't start well. But there was a gaping hole. Yeah, that doesn't bode well at all for UNLV. It was a good run. He broke 2 tackles. It looks cold there. I don't know. I can't do it. The cold. I'm reminded, like weeks like this, why I live here, because I can't do it. You said it's freezing back in New York. What's freezing? Like in the 20s?
20s, yeah. It's in the 20s. I went food shopping, right? So I went food shopping today, right? So here in New York, you got that dopey nickel deposit on bottles, right? So you got to save all these bottles and cans, right? So, all right, whatever. You get your nickel back. And I'm standing outside for a couple of seconds, and I'm like, screw this. Because naturally, the bottle returners are all outside. I'm like, forget it. You keep your nickel. I am going home. I am not, standing out. It is just too cold. Yeah, it's so mid-20s tonight up at Mikey Stadium. So we keep an eye on that. How about the little hockey? How about the Rangers this afternoon? Trading away their captain and then given the most overrated goaltender, right along the same lines of all Ranger goaltenders, a gazillion dollar a year contract. No score at the end of one against your Penguins.
What is going on with that? There has to be a story behind that, like something going on in the locker room, right? That it's not even New Year's yet, and you make that move. Now signing Igor locks up the position, and I still think he's top 5. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, against the Penguins at home, the Rangers are supposed to win that game. No score yet. What's the money line on that? Is it affordable? Because it's minus 165. Might be time to play the Rangers.
Crazy odds tonight.
I know.
Crazy numbers in a lot of these games, right?
Big numbers. Yeah, big numbers. The Penguins are playing really well. Arguably 4-1 their last 5. You see it right there on the screen. dare I say, playing their best hockey this season and getting good goaltending, keeping them in games. So I no opinion, no strong opinion there.
Yeah, I would stay away from that one. Just because, if anything, I would take a flyer, actually. You know what? I'll change my mind. I would actually take a flyer on the Penguins. That locker room's got to be like, what are we doing here? We traded away our captain, really, because he spoke out, and now we're giving this guy $1 gazillion, which is, I'm sure they all like him, but you trade away someone like that, it's just like, wow, are we really trying to win? So I would take a flyer on the Penguins. And it's down to minus 162 in a game in which the favorite was 2-1. You got no score after one, no big deal. Really shouldn't drop that much, but dropped almost 40 points. I did like the over in Seattle Devils. I gave that out to the boys on the podcast. 2-2 now.
There you go.
Midway through the second period. Over under 7.5. There was a 5.5. They screwed up on that. I know sometimes they got a waiver 5.5, 6.5, but boy, what a difference it is, Dave, when you see a 5.5. It just seems like, okay, the 4-2, we're 6.5. It's just like, oh, well, you need 4-3. You need both teams to really, really compete, or a crazy 5-2 game. So I enjoy playing the over 5.5s, and that's what that one was.
It's worth the shot. You don't see him as much as you used to.
No, really don't. So, in-game live, same game parlay coming up next here on the Grid.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell is one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of what does it mean for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to InGame Live, game day here on the Grid. You know what time it is. Time for a little SGP same game parlay time. All right, we got a ton of stuff going on. Right? We got college football tonight. We got a decent NBA slate. We got a couple college basketball games. So we're going to go to the NHL. Why not? Because I do think we have a mismatch here on paper that we need to take advantage of tonight. Vancouver and the Columbus Blue Jackets, who were playing good hockey. Keyword there, were. They had won 5 of their last 6 at one point, but not anymore. They've lost a couple of games, and, even bad teams have good stretches like that. So they're playing, here's the key, their 3rd game in 4 nights as well. That is very tough on hockey teams, all on the road. So give me Vancouver to win in regulation. I'm not going to lay the 2 and change. Get me down to minus 140 to win in regulation for the Canucks. If they win, I'm guessing Columbus gives up a ton of goals. We're going to go over 3.5 goals. Here's the only dicey one. Vancouver's got to win the first period, lay and a half a puck, plus 126. Then we got Quinn Hughes. He averages almost 4 shots on goal. We're only asking for 2. And then we got Brock Besser. He averages 3 shots on goal. Again, we're only asking for 2. Throw it in the mixer, and it spits out plus 4.5 to 1. So basically, we're taking a 2-1 favorite, and we're going it the other direction to plus 4.5 to 1. Got to build a little pot. We're not going to get rich on this day. We just need to build a little pot for tomorrow's great college football day. So we'll take our winnings with this one and use that for tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll call this the opposite picks fund. I mean,
yes.
You spilled it up, right? So we can load up and get everything ready for tomorrow. The award-winning segment is 1 hour from now with opposite picks, so we'll have that. This looks good. I like the over with the goals. I like Vancouver tonight. Did you entertain the puck line instead of the regulation win? Would that have worked?
I did, and that would have bumped it up even higher, obviously,
right?
But I was actually thinking of you when I said, not that should be so crazy, but when I was thinking, because you generally don't like to lay a puck and a half. So I was like, you know what? Right. I'm not going to. Hockey games, they end up in 1-goal games somehow, some way. So you know what? Just give me the regulation win. I'll do that.
That's fine.
And that does drop it quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. That's what I mean. Yeah. That's so if we're looking for the bigger payout, they win by 2. Okay. If you get the overtime, then you lose.
Right.
You got a little gamble in you tonight with this first period puck line. I like this. If this is tied 1-1, I'm going to be aggravated because and the rest of it, they win in regulation and they win 5-2 and the guys get the shots on goal, and it's because it's tied 1-1 after 1. Yeah. This will be one of those ones we'll be talking about, next week. Like, do you believe that
I thought
happened?
about this. With that one, you tell me which one you would have preferred. Either lay a half a puck with Vancouver first period or over 1.5 goals first period. Those were the 2 I was like flip-flopping back and
what's
forth.
The price on over 1.5 goals? I think I like that better.
It was about little less. This one I'm getting plus 126. That one was around pick'em or so. So it did help me a little bit more this way, but not a lot more. But not a lot more.
All right, that's fine. I just the tie first period is all I like that. When I looked at it, I went, "Geez, this could be a bunny. This could be a 5-2 game, but 1-1 after 1, something like that." And that's the only danger. But it looks good. This is good, man. I'm excited. Right. We got hockey tonight. We got all this stuff. We got college coming up. We got Colby coming up. Talk about. Did you look at college basketball at all tonight? I mean, West Virginia and Georgetown are in a pretty good game.
Yeah, I must have missed that one when I was looking at it. A lot of times, I do it at night, the night before, like when I get home from work or whatever. It's the house is peaceful and quiet, and then I zip through the games, get my initial impressions, and I didn't see that game. Somehow or another, I missed that game. There was another one I missed tonight too, or was it last night? Maybe it was last night. There was St. Louis. I started to play overs in St. Louis games in college basketball. Remember, they used to be like a strong under team. And then the coach left and whatever, and now they're actually a strong over team. And I missed that one yesterday. And I didn't see the Georgetown one today until I turned my TV set on. And I said, oh, look at that, West Virginia, Georgetown. How about that? Big East battle.
It's 43-43 with 12 minutes to go. So pretty good basketball game. West Virginia's playing above expectations. And then tonight, we got Illinois and Northwestern coming up in 30 minutes.
Good
game.
Yeah, not too bad. We did an under in the St. Peter's game as well.
she was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell is one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of like, okay, like what does it mean like for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. So I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in-game live in-game live game day here on the grid. College football game days. That's tomorrow with me and Joe Madden. Here tonight, it's me and Dave Sharapan watching Western Kentucky losing 21-3, and Jacksonville State on the threshold of scoring, and they just did. So 28-3 now. Love that one. So let's get some other winners from our guy Colby Dant, the College Experience Podcast. Check it out at all your favorite little podcast stores. Joins us all the time here on the grid. What's going on, Cole? Did you have Jacksonville State in this first game?
I did. I actually thought that was the hardest of the 3 games tonight, just because of the Rich Rod drama around him potentially going back to West Virginia, and also their quarterback was, a game time decision. But I just thought they played him last week. If you watch that game, the Tops beat him on a 54-yard field goal that made it by about a shoe. This one's in Alabama, and I also just thought Rich Rod, if the team's going out, and I thought he didn't take the job already, which is actually a classy move. You see, Brian Kelly would have already left. I thought maybe, the players would get up for him in perhaps his final game there. So I'm on that. And I'm on Boise, which it looks like they're in scoring territory. Don't want to jinx it. But that game just kicked off, and I'm excited to watch that.
It's crazy because the Tulane Army game is going on too at the same time as the Boise UNLV game. And Scott had mentioned it. It's the B side for me tonight. Like, I'm really interested. I mean, I got the UNLV ties. My daughter went there for a year and transferred, but like in Vegas, there's a buzz, and the word is that they're live to win the game. All right. Despite the fact that you see it right there, that Boise's beat UNLV in 8 straight. Only 3rd winning season in the last 24 years for UNLV, as Boise just scores a touchdown. You said you're on Boise?
I am on Boise. To me, you get a dome team going up to 28 degrees, and then that's just Boise in general. Like Boise on the Smurf turf. I don't have the stat in front of me, but I believe they haven't lost this year, obviously, besides the Oregon game in Eugene. I believe they've only lost 11 times on that turf since 98. And to me, if I don't want to fade that, you know what I mean? Like anyone goes up there to play, and that includes a lot of Power Fives. they've lost. So I'll take my shot with Boise there at home.
Okay. I thought the same thing, Colby, with Tulane. Same exact thing. Southern team, warm weather team going up to upstate New York. It's 25 degrees out there. They're freezing their butts off, and Army's already up 7-0 in that game. So, did you like Army or Tulane in that one before we move on to tomorrow's games?
No, I loaded up on Army. No, I loaded up on Army, and then the logic was a little bit of that, but also John Summerall's taking interviews. They got North Carolina and UCF, looking at him. What's the it's a sad state these days, but I'm saying what's the motivation? You got players entering the portal. Tulane can do nothing really and they can't make the playoff. Army still can. I mean, I think it's a long shot, but I mean, if UNLV was to somehow win in double overtime and Army wins 42-0, it would be an interesting conversation, at least with an 11-1 AAC champ with their only loss to a team in the field, whereas UNLV would have 2 losses. And then another thing is I believe Army might be a sponsor of the college football playoffs, the U.S. Army. So are you going to keep out potentially Army if you do that? I rode with the Black Knights there.
Early morning out west for me and you, the Big 12 championship game is really interesting, I think. Iowa State and Arizona State. Scott mentioned it earlier. It's a play-in game and it's a play-out game for the team that loses. So I don't know. I've been going back and forth all week, Cole. You got a strong opinion either way, side or total? Because I think the game goes over. I feel strongly more about the total than I do the side. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually think I would go under if I had to, but the play I like better. I mean, I don't have that strong a conviction on the under, but I just think Matt Campbell's defense. Jordan Tyson's out for Arizona State. He is by far their best wideout. I mean, if anything, I think the team's second leading receiver is their running back. So, he's out, and I think he's out for the season. Got dinged up in the Territorial Cup there. I think Matt Campbell is going to be able to load up on the rushing attack and have Arizona State dare to beat them in the air. And for that, I like the Cyclones. I just think a lot of this team was on that. A lot of that roster, Iowa State barely uses the transfer portal. A lot of that team that we're seeing this year was on that team that lost to Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship a couple years ago. Arizona State, I'm just not sure about the moment for them. A lot of these guys were projected to be, last place in the Big 12. I think Iowa State's going to get the win here, but they play so many close games. Iowa State in general, you feel like one missed field goal in the first quarter or a fumble, then you're really scared about your wager.
Trying to figure out, Cole, why Texas is still a favorite over Georgia. I don't get it. They had their worst game of the year at home. It was a 4.5-point favorite this season. They're 2.5 now at a neutral site. Georgia, I give you a ton of trends there that all say Georgia 10-6 straight up, 12-4 against top 5 teams, 23-4 straight up on the road is Georgia. I don't see it, but I'm hoping Texas wins. But who do you like in that game?
Yeah, I like the Dogs. I just don't. Texas is an interesting team to me where I feel like they haven't beaten anybody really good. A&M is not in the top. They have 0 top 25 wins. There's been certain games they look fantastic, but they were taking on, a third string quarterback, like in the Florida game. I didn't come away super impressed with them last week, even though, I was on A&M. So, they definitely made me look like a fool, but I just didn't come away super. They didn't look like to me like a top 5 team. And they haven't for a lot of the games. So I think Georgia, having that close call with Georgia Tech, a little bit of a wake up there. Kirby Smart in Atlanta, I think will be a Georgia crowd. And the fact that last year they lost the SEC championship to Alabama, I think they have this one circled. Let's go get that SEC championship. Let's get that bye week.
ACC championship, Clemson and SMU. I want to see SMU win. I really, really do. I don't know if they can. I think they're built to do it, and I think the game, if SMU wins, plays to the over. But I can't get this Clemson out of my head. I can't do it, Cole. What's the side in this game? You have a side in this game?
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. Like, had this been Miami, had Miami not dropped the ball up at the Carrier Dome against Syracuse, I think SMU would have cruised past Miami. I think the fact it's Clemson, which is about an hour and a half away from Charlotte, and SMU, I'm sure they got some rich alums that are going to try it, but that's a small school. I think that's a Clemson crowd. I think it's a Clemson home game. I think Clemson wins the game and puts the pressure on the committee to put in either Alabama or SMU, and I hope it's SMU.
All right, minute left. Oregon laying 3.5 against Penn State.
James Franklin's moment of truth right here, man. I think he's going to get it done, get that 1 seed. Oregon will host a playoff game, and it's a blessing in disguise because their city will make a ton of money and their NIL collective will only get more money. But Penn State gets it done, gets the 1 seed. They can never fire Franklin now.
Careful what you wish for. Hey, if they get the 1 seed, though, they got a shot because they can win the first game, and depending on the matchup, legit maybe a Final Four appearance.
I'm with you.
Colby Dan, check out his podcast, the College Experience Podcast. Thanks, Colby.
Thanks for...
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, game day here on the grid. Again, thanks to Colby Dant for joining us. Check out his podcast, the College Experience Podcast, at your favorite little podcast store. So, Football. Let me update the scores for you. Jacksonville State leading still 28-3 over Western Kentucky. Rematch from last week's game in which Western Kentucky won. They're now getting it's just locked up, but it was 27.5. They are final seconds of the first half, so not looking good there. Boise 7-0 lead. They finish up the first quarter, so it's up to 13.5 as far as the point spread is concerned. The over/under though is down to 52.5. I have the score of the Army game, but I'm here in New York, so they don't post the point spreads on that one. I could check a couple of sites, but Army leads 7-0, but Tulane does have the football at the Army 11-yard line. So they
In the
are
red
early
zone,
second quarter. It's in the red zone.
It's Tulane minus 1.5, actually, right now.
Really?
And
Okay.
it just lost.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
they're probably headed for the end zone with it locked right now. Yeah.
All right. So not bad. Now I don't want to give out all the secrets to the opposite
that
picks.
where you can't take the books don't put up the New York schools?
Yeah, still. Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever change. Maybe. Who knows? But
they just set another record in New York. My buddy David Purdom posted the New York numbers, and another guy named Chris Altruda also posted them. They set a record. It's the biggest month handle, I guess, since legalization this past month.
Wow.
So
really,
people are playing, people are healthy. You know why? October was one of the worst months for sports books in the last decade. The numbers in Nevada were unbelievable. The hold percentage was 2%. It was down 78% from last year because all the favorites won in October. So people are flush, so they keep playing. In New York, they're playing. At some point, that's going to change. I don't know when, but it becomes a bargaining chip. When I moved here, we couldn't take bets on UNLV. Imagine not being able to take bets on the Mountain West Championship because UNLV's in it. It'd be ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen, the thing that doesn't make any sense to me. So we can take bets on New Jersey. I'll use here and Connecticut, right? But if you live in New York, that's a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, the thinking of, okay, we don't want to expose these kids to local gamblers and point shaving. That's like the premise behind it. Listen, you think it's that more difficult to go to New Jersey and pick one of the 5,000 New Jersey colleges and get some kids to fix games, or up to Connecticut? I mean, what's the difference? It's the same thing, So, but all right, there'll be. I mean, there's enough games to pick and choose that if that gets this thing passed and everything, that makes you sleep better at night, and knock yourself out. But in reality, if someone's going to fix a game, Dave, they're going to fix a game. It doesn't have to be in their backyard. So.
Again, it's just a negotiating thing. It starts, it'll go away.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Penguins and Rangers are tied 1-1. Boy, Penguins and Rangers tied 1-1.
I was going to say Celtics. The Celtics are a weird team. They either fly by their halftime line or they don't even come close. Tonight it was 61.5 against Milwaukee. You figure it's going to be an up and down game. 57-53 Milwaukee leads. Celtics only 53 points first half. So. But they're weird. The next game they'll have 65 and it'll blow by the number. It's like they're never right at the number. It's either way over or way under. Very weird.
Which is an absolute nightmare if you're making the number and trying to book it. You literally, I had a guy who I worked with was like, trust the process, don't look at the results. Like, if the process is right, that's why you won't see the number move much. It'll move 2 points. If they score 78 and the number was 61, the next game it'll be 62 or 63 because the next game for them is tonight, 53. That's why you can't, as bettors, I think that's one of the struggles a lot of people don't look at. Like, you have to consistently do the same thing. And then the results, the swings, they start to come back to the middle. But you're right. The Celtics may not be that team this year. They may be really, really good one night and then not so much the next.
Oh, dopey Tulane.
Dopey.
This is second. Yeah, well, I shouldn't say that because I got Army. This is the second time I saw Tulane in the red zone, And if you check the scoreboard, you'll see no points. Kid took a sack. It wasn't really his fault. Nobody blocked the poor guy. And then they missed a 38-yard field goal. Still 7-0 Army. Wow.
Field goals are tough in the cold.
Yeah. I could do it, but I understand these kids couldn't. So, but that's why I bet these colleges
100% could not kick the field goal. We've had this discussion before, even indoors in a dome with the Dr. Pepper thing sponsoring it. That would be great.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you doing the Dr. Pepper challenge? But you're not kicking a field goal up in Army today. It's freezing. You would hurt your foot. You wouldn't be able to kick a field goal in the cold. No way. No chance.
These poor referees, I must say, the referees, they're dressed up like they're in 50 below zero. I mean, it's 25 degrees. These guys are freezing. At least the other guys, not that they're not running around, but they're going off the field, on the field, sitting next to the warmer. These poor guys are standing out in the cold for 3 straight hours. They were all bundled up. And they showed this one guy. He looked like he was an Eskimo. I mean, they are freezing there. So, all right, so 7-0. So that under is looking pretty good. Nice little combo we put in Army and the under on that one. And I could kick it. I can kick a 40-yarder still to this day. It's still 2-2 Seattle and New Jersey. Over 3.5 was looking great midway through the second. Now we got to sweat this out again. Now it's down to 6.5. You mentioned the Rangers and Penguins tied at 1. Toronto and Washington tied at 1. Pretty good game. Well, I tell you, the Capitals have not missed a beat without Alex Ovechkin. I won't pretend to say that they're better without him. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of people, myself included, thought they would struggle a little bit, but they really haven't. They're actually doing halfway decent.
Really impressive. I mean, a really impressive start with him, even more impressive without him. I don't think they're going away. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be, lines every day that you're going to go, okay. I mean, they were plus 125 tonight. Live.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Black Cloud, play of the day, coming up next.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell's one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of what does it mean for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live game day here on the grid. Time for, you know what, our best play of the day, Black Cloud play of the day. All righty. You know what? Again, same thing like we talked about before. We got college football, we got NBA, we got good slate of hockey. Where are we going to go for our best play? How about college basketball? Starting in about 5 minutes. Illinois at Northwestern. Yeah. Pretty good football matchup, even better on the courts. We're going to grab the Illini, laying 3.5. Listen, the boys in Vegas don't realize that Northwestern has about 5 fans in the state of Illinois, and the state school Illinois has all the others. And so this might be a home game for Northwestern, but there's going to be just as many, if not more, Illinois fans there than there will be Northwestern. Illinois, they're the real deal. They went toe-to-toe against Alabama. They beat one other team. I forgot who it was, who was actually really, really good. Northwestern 6-3. Anybody with a breath, they lost to this year. And Illinois has beaten Northwestern 8 of the last 10. So, and every one of those wins except one came by 4 points or more. Illini not losing to Northwestern, folks. So love Illinois laying. It's down to 3 in a lot of circles. That's okay. You know what? Fine. I hope they drop it to 2.5. Give me Illinois laying the 3.5, Dave, against Northwestern.
I mean, normally when we look at the same game parlay, we always try to look to see what we don't see or what might miss. When we do the Black Cloud, we're rooting for the Black Cloud. This is when Wetzel, really, this is a push all in. This is I really like this play. And, there's sometimes I like it, and there's other times I don't. I think tonight I really like this one. I think this is a good play. This feels right. I'm getting ready for, we have newbie a little bit later, and then we got opposite picks, and I'm excited. This is good. I think you're good. I just got a tweet though from a guy watching the show right now. I want to get this right because this one got me pretty good. Zane Thomas, who's watching the show, said, shaking my head, the hamstring is gone if you try to kick a field goal. I'm just telling you right now, your hamstring, that might be the play of the night. Forget about it. You kicking a field goal in the cold, hamstring gone. We can't have you down for the count. It's basketball season. We can't have you getting hurt. You were not kicking a field goal in the cold. Thank you.
I need the Achilles. I'd be more worried about the Achilles than the hamstring. But I tell you, I remember one time I was fighting my brother on a couch when I was, I forget, I was in high school. So, yeah, we always used to fight, right? And I don't know what I did, but, man, I pulled my hamstring, and man, I couldn't walk for a week. It was just like, wow, even a superior athlete like myself got affected with that. So, hamstrings I'm a little leery of. I
went down once. My first retirement from playing softball, I was playing first base, and I stretched, and my turf shoe on the hard desert field, it slid out, and I did like an Igor Shesterkin type split, and I jumped up, and I thought, what was that? And I grabbed my hamstring, and I said, I'm done. I walked off the field, and I sat down in the dugout and passed out, actually. And my wife had to come get me, and she said, what happened? And I said, well, the guy was out, but I was stretching. And she said, all right, you got to take a break. And then, that pulled hamstring is a killer. But I came back from it. You bounced back from it, right? You were strong. You're fine. Yeah,
eventually. Eventually took me a little while.
Right.
By the way, CBW, 2 things. He sent me a copy. He sent me the video of the first field goal tried by Tulane. I mentioned they'd been in the red zone twice. The first one, they didn't even get it off. They snapped it, and the snap got all botched up. I mean, I guess their field goal unit has some issues. And then the second one was
Speaking
at least
of field goal issues, UNLV just hit the upright on a field goal attempt. So it's still 7-0, 8.5 minutes to go. They're trailing. That was a good opportunity for them to get points on the board, and they did not. And Boise's driving now. Those missed field goals are brutal. I mean,
Yeah.
Wetzel, there's still hope. You could try out. No, you cannot. I don't even want to bring it up.
I probably
Not
could
kick it.
kick a field goal for the Detroit Lions just because dopey Dan Campbell would never go for any. Army up 14-0, scored again. That was the play of the night, boys. Army. Told you.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. Mark Campbell's one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of like, okay, like what does it mean like for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. It's InGame Live Game Day, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan until 10 p.m. Eastern Time before Cam Stewart and Gabe Morency take over. Looking at a little college football, a little college basketball. We got Dan Alexander coming up in about the 5-10 minutes. Newbie, we got our college football opposite picks coming up in about 30 minutes. So hopefully make some money for the next 60 minutes as we try and beat the boys in Vegas. Dave, college football taking center stage tonight. I got 3 games going on. First one, we got Jacksonville State all over Western Kentucky at the half, 28-6. 5-point favorites they were, laying 25.5 now. You got Boise 7-0 over UNLV. Same thing, right around a 4-point favorite, now laying 10.5. There's 6 minutes left to go in the first half, and boy, it looks cold in Boise. And then we got Army 14-0. Even Army doesn't look that bad, to tell you the truth. I know it's cold, but 14-0 over Tulane, and Tulane just fumbled the ensuing kickoff. So now Army has the ball at the Tulane 11-yard line, looking to make this thing a blowout with 6.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, it does look cold in Boise, which is good for the unders. Hopefully that continues. Yeah, we got all this stuff to look at and games and stuff going on. But, all summer, I mean, we spent getting very close to the Mets and different things, rooting for the Mets, hoping the Mets would actually get to the World Series. That would have been great. I'm not sure that they might have won it, actually. The Dodgers won it. But I just got information about the Mets signing somebody, and it's a Yankee. And it's big news. I mean, Vincenzo, if you could hit the Mets package right here, if you have it around, just throw it in here while we're talking because we're getting excited about the Mets. I don't think he has it. It's not Juan Soto. No, it's Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes signed from the Yankees to the Mets.
All right. We're thinking Juan Soto, Clay Holmes.
Maybe,
all
yeah.
right.
I mean, maybe let him know, like, Juan, come on over with me. We'll go over together. We could carpool. Something like that. It's not a bad move. If we carpooled, would you drive or would you ride the passenger seat?
Oh, I have to drive. I can't. The last guy I rode passenger with, a buddy of mine, who at least I thought was a buddy, but ever since I left the three-letter network, hasn't called me. I won't bring his name up. But I used to drive in with him sometimes. Oh, he was a nut.
Yeah.
He was just a nut. I mean, just like, man, take it easy. So, yeah, no, I'm a driver. I got to drive. I can't sit in the passenger. I used to get car sick when I was younger, and now I just got to be in control. I like driving, so, yeah.
Okay, I'm a very good passenger. I mean, I'm a very good driver too. But if you need to drive, I'll sit in the passenger seat. Now, can I pick the music? If I'm in a passenger seat, you got to pick the music too.
Yeah, passengers in the power seat. So if it's a long drive, like we used to drive back home from Chicago to New York, 18 hours, right? And I would drive straight through. Yeah, I had no problem. Yep, I'll drive the whole way. Don't worry about it. So, but with that comes, control of all the knobs. Every once in a while, I'll get on my sunflower seeds, and I usually pick a can of Dr. Pepper, 2 sunflower seeds, right? That keeps me. You'd be surprised. You want something to keep you awake? Sunflower seeds, because you're doing something with your mouth, chewing, spitting, salt. Yeah.
Yep.
So
the best. Yeah, that's good. Okay, can I sleep? I'm a good sleeper in the car.
I prefer it. I don't like to talk. I don't talk. 18 hours, don't say anything to me. No, I don't talk. I don't talk.
18 hours of not talking?
Yeah. Believe it or not. I get in the zone.
We talk for 2 hours a night, 3 times a week. We're going to get in the car. You're not going to talk?
No. I get in the zone. That's how I can go 18 hours. I'm in this zone. It's me, Dr. Pepper, and sunflower seeds. That's it. You could do everything else. You want to control the radio? Knock yourself out if you want.
I'm not saying a word. No.
Yeah.
Now that I know all this, I'm not saying a word. I might lay down in the back seat.
Perfect. I'll never forget. True story, right? So I'm coming home from college. I went to Southern Illinois in college, right? So I was, 19, 20 years old, whatever it was. Driving back with this girl, and it's her car. She wants to drive a little bit. All right. So I fall asleep. I wake up, 2 or 3 hours in, whatever it was. She's grabbing my arm, and we're spinning in circles on the road as we go into a ditch. I'm like, honey, take it easy. Honey, take it easy. You know what? I'll drive the 15 rest of the hours. No problem. So from that point on, yeah, I don't.
So wait,
trust.
Did you drive yourself out of the ditch?
I did. Yeah, we got out of the ditch, fortunately. But I swear, we're spinning in I don't know how she got in a circle. Who knows? But she grabbed my arm, and I'm seeing us spin. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. That's it. I'm gonna die with a stranger, basically.
Wow.
So,
oh my goodness.
It was like a little Fiat, small little Volkswagen or some, dopey little car that, you have in college. So yeah, from that point on, I'm driving. No problem. No conversation, just focus, I'm one of those guys. I look in a rear mirror, you tell me what car's behind us. I could tell you, who's beside me. I could tell you, Yeah.
Stay focused. So. Yeah. No distractions. Yeah. I mean, especially if there's any sort of weather. I had a bunch of white knuckle drives driving from Pittsburgh to Penn State for college, or going back and forth, or, I would drive home for Penguin games. It's a 2.5 to 3 hour drive. But if the Penguins were playing the Rangers and it was a big game, I would drive down, have dinner at my parents' house, go to the game with my brothers, and drive back to Penn State. I didn't think anything of it, but there were times where that was a white knuckle drive. So, yeah, all right. That's fine. We won't talk. I won't control the radio. Maybe I'll just put on SportsGrid, listen to something in my ear. Maybe I'll call Vinny or something, hang out.
Eron writes in, E-R-O-N, Eron, I guess that is, he tweets in, he's got a picture of Lucy, pulling the ball away from Charlie Brown as he's trying to kick a field goal. He wants to know, would you do that to me?
Hell no. I'm down. Listen, I used to hold. I'm a good holder too. I'll hold that thing. I won't look as you go though. Like I'll just set it down and look away because if you slip, I don't want to see you slip or fall or pull a muscle or anything like that. I'll get that ball down, and the laces will not. You will have laces away from you. You won't kick the laces, guaranteed. Put it down and spin it. No laces.
All right, what's the last one before we go to the games? What's the our boy CBC wants to our CBW? What's the coldest temperature you would go see a Penn State game, playoff game?
Oh, I think 20. I think 20 would be the lowest. If it were in the teens, I don't think I could do it. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm built for it anymore. I saw them play Notre Dame in, I believe it was 1989, and we froze to the point where I was concerned because my girlfriend at the time was from California, and I was a wuss, and I thought we had frostbite. I'm like, this is ridiculous. We can't do this. I mean, seriously, what are we doing? And we left in the third quarter. It was the only game I left my entire college career early. I was too cold. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. There was a Giant Eagles game I went to many moons ago at the Meadowlands. That was the coldest. Same thing. I didn't leave. I was with someone, family, a friend, whatever. I forget who it was. But I went inside. I couldn't sit outside. It was so cold. So cold.
Yeah.
So
no, can't do it.
Yeah.
No more.
You know, you can't move around. You can't do anything. It's just not. You're just not cold. It's just you're sitting there or standing there. Man, you are just freezing. So, Boise State touchdown, 14-0. UNLV's in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble in this game. All right, more coming up. Yep. Newbie's joining us next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFP selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave for another 45 minutes or so. We got college football opposite picks coming up in about 15 minutes. But in the meantime, let's bring in our good buddy Dan Newbie Alexander as he tells us some winners for college football, maybe a little NFL as well. And Dan, Dave and I were talking about cold weather sites and how cold it is in some of these games and stuff, and the coldest temperature games we've gone to. I understand you've been to a frigid game or two yourself, have you not?
Oh, that is for damn sure. Since 2008, we've been holding on to some Eagles season tickets, so it gets a little frigid at the link. That is for sure. Coldest game I was at was Eagles Raiders during their Super Bowl season. 9 degrees at game time, and there were 9 points scored. If you're wondering why I live out west, that game is a pretty big part of it. But the best cold weather game, Scott, was by far, bar none. I was at the Snow Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Detroit Lions when snow wasn't even in the forecast. And by the time the game kicked off, we had about 2.5 feet of snow. LaShawn McCoy set the rushing record for the Philadelphia Eagles. I was there alongside my dad. Insane game, absolutely incredible time. So that one definitely stands out when you talk weather games. I'll never forget that one, man.
And you saw him set the rushing record, and just by chance, you were in L.A. last week to see the Eagles, or it's now 2 weeks ago, to see the Eagles and Saquon do what he did against the Rams. That was exciting. Are the Eagles going to do it again?
It's basically,
this
Dave,
week?
If you want to see a rushing record broken, set up a GoFundMe, send me to any game that you want, and I'm a rushing record king. So you send me to the game, Dave, and the ground game's going to be working, man.
Love it. Love it.
All right. So you got games for us for college or just NFL today or this weekend? You dabbling in the college scene or no?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think honestly, and maybe it doesn't matter as much with the playoffs, but I always look forward to conference championship weekend. These back-to-back weeks between rivalry week and rolling on into conference championships, it's some of just the wackiest football that you'll see for sure. The results always kind of go up in the air. So right now I'm not feeling too good, Scott, because I'm joining you guys while I'm sitting on an Army under 20.5 ticket for their team total. The 14 they scored right out the gate has me. I haven't fully shredded the ticket, but a corner is at least pulled off of there. For tomorrow, though, I mean, you see Dave in the Penn State gear. That's the game for me. And not only because, I called Nick Singleton football games back when I lived outside of Philadelphia. So I always like seeing him doing his thing. If you just look at the splits of what we've seen, that is the Pro versus Joe game this weekend, right? I mean, everybody and their grandmother who's Barney at the bar is laying the points with Oregon. All the sharp guys lining up. The 4.5's gone. The 4s are gone. I'd like to think Penn State is a live dog, but I feel like in conference championship weekends, sometime the coaching edge is going to be the difference. And do we have to say the record of James Franklin in these games? What is it, 1-11?
15.
1-15. 1-15. So I'm taking 4 off, and it was still a pretty damn bad record, Scott. I'd like to lean that way with the points. It's you don't tease college football, so we're not going to put that up to 9. I think it stays closer than maybe some people expect. I don't think it's a blowout, but if I'm losing that hook, probably about a field goal game. I think Oregon's going to learn what Big Ten defense is all about here in the Big Ten championship game.
All right, we gotta get to Sunday, and Sunday night is a big matchup. It's the Chiefs and it's the Chargers. Mm-hmm. And you were just in the stadium and you saw the Rams play, but you live out there in LA.
Yep.
Are the Chiefs losing? What do you got? Side, total, prop? What are you looking at this game?
I mean, come on, let's be real. Do we have to do the Chiefs are going to lose this week? This is going to be the time that they lose. I mean, let's be real. I would lean with taking over that field goal simply because Kansas City, they don't need to win by margin. They haven't won by margin. So you're asking them to go over a field goal in division against a much more improved Chargers team here. I don't see it. I know people are going to line up and try and figure it out both ways there, but I would be taking the points. But the true play for me in this one, Dave, is a play. Sometimes in the prop market, I like finding something that works and betting it every single week until they either price you out or until you get back-to-back or 3 straight losses, then you lay off of it. Something that has been profitable in every single week except for one is taking Justin Herbert to not throw an interception. When you think about him under these previous head coaches and previous offensive coordinators, gunslinger, throwing it up, not under Harbaugh. He's been efficient. He's been well-paced with the ball. He hasn't thrown a pick since week 2. And again, if you bet this every single week, you've had 12 opportunities to do it with him under center. You're 11-1 on this prop. It's only minus 120. This thing should be minus 150 or higher. Great value on Justin Herbert to stay efficient like he has all year long. People tell you side total, whatever. The best bet in that game is taking Herbert to not throw an interception.
Yeah, I think I saw where it's like over 300 passes now without an INT for Justin Herbert.
And whenever you see those stats, though, Scott, that's when you know maybe this is the week. When the announcers start talking about it, yeah.
It's true, because then the defense hears it, and then all of a sudden it becomes, okay, let's do whatever we need to break that streak. So, all right, so what other – I'll just throw it out there rather than me throw games out there. Give me some other winners that you like this weekend.
Well, it wouldn't be a newbie segment with my guys if I didn't come with some barf bag specials, right, boys? So let's start off. Bounce back mode for not only the Bears, we got 2 of them. We'll start here with the Bears game. I'm still seeing 3.5 out there, so you're getting it over the hook as they are taking on a San Francisco 49ers team who, guys, they shouldn't be laying points to anyone right now, in my opinion. You just have, of course, the season-ending second injury for our man McCaffrey. This one doesn't make sense to me.
All right, hold that phone. We'll get more from Nuka coming up here on the Grid.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell is one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of what does it mean like for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan talking with Dan Newbie Alexander, and we left a little NFL with the coaches fired system as well. Noobs with that Chicago. I love Chicago as well. Not love, but I do like Chicago. The same thing as you were talking about. If you want to pick up on that, on kind of an anti-San Francisco play and the coaches fired system play on the Bears.
Yeah, I fully believe in the dead cat bounce system. You know what I mean? I like playing it in across sports even, especially when it makes sense. Like, if you look at this Bears team, you can count nearly a half dozen games that if it weren't for the head coach and Matt Eberflus, you have a much closer game, or you might even have an outright win. So this freshman season here for Caleb Williams could be looking a lot different if you didn't have a head coach who probably shouldn't have even gotten to handpick the quarterback, and you should have maybe started with a fresh slate. You're kind of wasting a year here with Caleb Williams, but they're playing better. If it weren't for that absolute coaching malpractice at the end of that Lions game, you would have seen that victory. And now I think a lot of people are forgetting the fact that maybe because it was so long ago, like, this is a very well-rested team who's going to be ready to go here and ready to play. And without their head coach, who I don't think he's going to be having many tears around that locker room that he's gone, they're going to be ultra motivated. And as you kind of said, sure, that's that part of the equation. The other part of the equation is this is a San Francisco team that came into the year with Super Bowl aspirations. And now you're talking about a team who's just trying to find their way, and they'll have to do it without Christian McCaffrey. They'll have to do it with a Deebo Samuel who looks like he has heavily regressed. The offense doesn't look even a little bit competent without Ayuk and what he brings with stretching it downfield. So I think that you've seen that this 49ers team has come crashing down to earth. This Philadelphia Eagles fan probably will shed no tears regarding that fact there. But I don't see why this team would be a favorite against anyone right now. Even the Bears, I certainly don't see when we're getting over a field goal and a hook with a surging team who wants to bounce back and say, hey, look at what we could have done without our head coach screwing us up all year long. I love this spot. It's take the 3.5, but on the road I'm sprinkling that money line here.
Boise State, Genty just broke a run for like 70 yards. It's 21-0.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
so
right
my running
half,
Rebels
so.
4.5 pick. Yeah, that was great. That was really
looking,
good. Yeah.
Not looking great right now. Yeah, that's not looking good.
When you get
part
of
of the Friday night,
when you get to that blue turf. Yeah, the blue turf will get you, man.
So the Friday night fam, I consider you part of the fam anyway, me and you, but like this Friday night deal that we got going on here, you're talking all the time. I feel like you've got to know both Scott and myself through the show.
Mm-hmm.
We asked a question earlier, and Wetzel believes that he could actually kick a field goal, noobs. I mean, like line
like
up
real time,
kick,
like not just on the field. We're saying in between the numbers, live guys rushing at you.
Yeah. He keeps saying that this is nothing. Now, you were a center. And
yes.
You were a defensive lineman and a college football player. Did you ever long snap?
Dude, see, here's the thing. So obviously we would do shotgun. So yeah, I would shotgun snap, but the mechanics between being a long snapper and a shotgun snap are completely different. You're essentially getting underneath the laces and firing it back there. I could never get the mechanics quite down as far as the long snap was. Like I could dribble it back to you, but that thing wouldn't be coming proper. So if you're asking me for the Friday fam, if Scott wants me to be his long snapper, that kick is getting botched before it even starts. If I'm your long snapper, Scotty, so you might want to go elsewhere for that one.
I was hoping that you could snap the ball. I'll hold it, and Wetzel will kick it. We'll come out to
Dave
LA.
Does have the soft hands. You need the soft hands.
I 100% will catch it and get it down. We'll fly Wetzel out. We'll get somebody to shoot it. He thinks he can kick a field goal. News. Tell him he can't kick a field goal. He's going to hurt his hamstring. Something.
Now, I would never besmirch the name of Scott Wetzel. If he believes he can do it, I believe that he can do it. Confidence is half the battle, Dave. I mean, if we're the Friday squad, we're riding and dying for each other. So we can't throw fire on him, throw water on him before he's too pumped up. I will say, Kicking it in an open field, I like his chances. If we're saying Scott's going to trot out there Jake Bates style after his head coach had him standing over there, did you see him mouthing, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" And he still went out and nailed it. I don't know if you're quite Jake Bates, Scotty, but hell, you might be a Cairo Santos every now and then. Who knows?
Think positive. Think positive. Thanks, Duke. Good job with Old Vic.
Good luck this weekend, guys.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell's one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look like, okay, like what does it mean like for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. So I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
LW's loyal watchers know what that music means. Time to take out the pad and pencils, get set for the fastest and, more importantly, most profitable 5 minutes in television, Opposite Picks. What are Opposite Picks, you newbies ask? Well, we give you 7 games, 7,000 reasons why we like one team, and then we go opposite. Why? Because despite all the stats, trends, hunches, injury reports, weather reports, systems, and everything else, nobody beats the boys in Vegas. Proving it again this year, we are now 16 games over 500, wow. 50, 34, and 1 by going opposite. Wow. All right, he's exactly right, Dave. Here we go. Conference Championship Weekend 7-pack of games for you. Game number 1, Iowa State getting 2.5 versus Arizona State in the Big 12 Championship contest. 2 teams searching for respect, right? Arizona State expected to finish last in the preseason polls. Iowa State 6th. But here they are, both in the championship game. Arizona State, a nice 10-2 against the spread on top of their 10-2 straight-up record. But Iowa has Matt Campbell. Cyclones head coach thrives in spots like this, folks. 8-1 against the spread their last 9 road games. 36-23-3 against the spread as an underdog, including 25-14-2 at Iowa Giving him points is like giving candy to a baby. Also, Arizona State won monster back-to-back-to-back games heading into this contest by beating Kansas State, which was ranked at the time, then undefeated BYU, and then rival Arizona last week. Point is, they're gassed. Iowa State wins this by double digits. Love Iowa State here. Give us Arizona State -2.5. Pick number 2, Ohio, getting a 1.5 against Miami of Ohio. This is a no-brainer, folks. Pencil this in next to Joey Chestnut winning the hot dog eating contest, Baltimore Ravens in preseason football games, number 1 versus number 16 in the NCAA tournament, and underdogs in MAC championship games. How about this, Dave? 16-6-1 against the spread are dogs in MAC title games. Plus, Miami, Ohio won last year. So what, Scott? That's last year. Case in point, teams trying to repeat as MAC champs, 1-7 straight up, including 1-6 against the spread. Love Ohio here. Give us Miami of Ohio -1.5. Pick number 3, Georgia, getting 2.5 versus Texas. Boys in Vegas, his dyslexia is kicking in again. They got it backwards. Wrong team is favored here. I don't understand. Georgia beat Texas 30-15 in Texas in the regular season. Now they're the underdog. Again, doesn't make sense. Texas' offense really hasn't been the same since that game. All the numbers say Georgia Bulldogs 26-3 in their last 29 games, 23-4 their last 27 road games, 10-5 against the spread, in which the game's point spread is between 4+ and -4, and also 10-6 straight up, 12-4 against the spread versus top 5 teams is George Kirby and Kirby and company. And again, they beat Texas early this year, and you're giving me points. Love Georgia here. Give me Texas -2.5.
Damn it. I was hoping you had that opposite. I can't believe you did that. What else you got?
How about Marshall getting 6 versus Louisiana? Surprised this line is as high as it is, folks. Thundering Herd are the best cover team in college football. That's right, bar none. Better than Oregon, better than Penn State, better than Texas, Notre Dame, Topeka High. They beat them all. None can say that they did what Marshall did this year, and that is go 11-1 against the spread, including 10 straight heading into this game. It's the greatest sports axiom of all time. Winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks. You don't get in front of a 10-0 train, folks. Love Marshall here, getting nearly a touchdown. Give me Louisiana -6.
Easy.
Pick number 5, SMU laying 2.5 versus Clemson. This is a reputation line, folks. Clemson has the rep, SMU doesn't. Otherwise, SMU would be a 7-point favorite here. SMU is the better team. In the words of Rick Pitino, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, and Travis Etienne are not walking through that door, folks. This is the team you have, and it sucks. Tigers played 3 teams this year that finished with winning records. You know what their record was against those 3 winning teams? How about 0-3? Yep, they did not beat a team this year that finished with a winning record. SMU 20-1 their last 21 games dating back to last season. They're not going to lose here. We're getting them at pick 'em odds, basically. Come on, the common opponents, Clemson went 1-4 against the spread. SMU 5-0 against the spread. Love Smoo here. We go Clemson 2.5.
Can't believe it. Smoo. Only the OGs know even Smoo. That was how you said it on the phone. Give me Smoo.
You can't believe that one. You're not going to like this one. Oregon -3.5 versus Penn State. Now, we all know how great Penn State head coach James Franklin is as a favorite, right? 92-15 he is as a favorite. But what about an underdog, Scott, since he's a dog here? Picture Ralphie in the Christmas Story beating up the big bully at the end of the show, right? That's James Franklin, the bully, getting pummeled by Ralphie here. Franklin and Penn State, 7-25 straight up as an underdog, including 9 straight losses. They haven't won as an underdog since 2021, folks. How about 1-16 against teams that are ranked in the top 5? Ducks, on the other hand, greatest favorites, 18-6 against the spread. Road favorites, 13-0 straight up, 10-3 against the spread as road favorites. Overall, 35-9 straight up, 25-17-2 against the spread the last 3 seasons. All Oregon does is win and cover, folks.
Sure, yeah.
Give us Dave's Penn State Nittany Lions plus 3.5. Pick number 7.
When you say we are, you say Penn State. We are. Say it, Scott.
Marshall. Pick number 7. Over 43, Ohio and Miami of Ohio in the MAC championship game. First, their regular season meeting had 50 points. This is only 43. Second, 10 of Ohio's 12 games had 43 points or more. Miami's defense is solid, holding opponents to 14 points or less 5 times. I'll grant you that. But no MAC games with a total of under 50. This is way under 50. 18-10 over. Also, 20 of the last 23 MAC championship games have had 43 points or more. And don't forget, the game's in Detroit, home of Goofy Dan Campbell. So expect fake punts, fake field goals, option passes, onside kicks. It's all going to lead to points. The game is indoors. Points, and points galore. Everything says over. You'd have to be the biggest bird brain, butthead, meathead, knucklehead, dope, dorky, dunce, schmuck, sucker, simpleton, imbecile, ignoramus, insane jerk, jackass in the world to put American money on the under here. Or on the over. Under. Give me the under 43. Yeah, we got that right.
A total?
Opposite
Is that the
picks.
first
A
total? Opposite pick of the year?
Oh, we had 6 games. We had to throw it in there. I do love the over, though.
Put them up.
But under's the play.
For the people. Put them up. Look at this.
There they are. Arizona State, Miami, Texas, Miami, Ohio, Louisiana, Clemson, Penn State, and the under 43, Ohio, Miami, Ohio.
Outstanding.
50 and 34. What do we go? 4-3, 3-4? What do you think this week?
As long as you go 1-6 in the Penn State
We're okay.
1 wins, we're good.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell is one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of like, okay, like what does it mean like for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back In-Game Live, game day here on the Riz. Scott and Dave for another 15, 20 minutes or so before Cam and Gabe take over top of the hour. And Cam joins us now to give us some winners, no doubt, for tonight and then maybe tomorrow's action as well. What's going on? Now, first of all, I got to ask you, Cam, who comes back on vacation on a Friday? What are you doing? It's just come back next Monday. You're going to come all the way back from vacation for one day?
I'm an idiot.
What gives?
No, like, I'm an idiot. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I got to see my father, but I should get a shirt. Cam Stewart. I vacation in Detroit or I vacation in Western New York. Oh, and in brackets, in the winter with the other bracket. In December.
In December. Yeah.
I thought about this when I was at the casino. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm looking at people in their parkas and stuff like that. I'm rolling in. I'm like, they go, who is this guy? Like, he's from Ontario. He's vacationing. I'm losing 38 cents on the dollar. But I will say this, Scott, 2 lessons, like opposite picks. Just if anybody listen to me, and I'll give you 2, we'll go to the games, but I'll give you 2 lessons in life. Never play blackjack with anybody under 30 years old. That's lesson number 1.
Okay.
Never play blackjack after 4 a.m. Lesson 2. And lesson 3, make sure people are drinking coffee if you want to succeed at blackjack, probably at 6 o'clock in the morning with blue hairs, right after their dinner. That's what I'm saying. Dave, I party with Linda and Larry Lackawanna, wake up in the morning, have a coffee, lose it all on the Browns game. You kind of get it back in the morning. I'm telling you, kids at night coming in all, hey, let's party. I'm just like, oh yeah. Hey, I'm hitting against a 3, a 6, 16 against a 6. I'm feeling it. Anyway, lesson in life, play with older people and play in the morning if you want to have a chance.
The AM shift. You have to play in the AM shift. You have to outlast them, or you go to bed and wake up early before they wake up and you have a chance. You're absolutely right. Speaking of having a chance, any chance for UNLV tonight in this game against Boise? It's pretty much done, right? Genty got that touchdown right before the half. It's 21-0. I don't even know if I could advocate taking the points in game right now. They don't look like they're going to score.
I'm with you, Dave, but I think we can make a case for Tulane getting 10.5 in that game. I kind of lean under in the UNLV game as well. It kind of sucks because I was talking to a guy when I was in at the Seneca Casino, and he was a big UNLV guy, and we were hoping that UNLV would win the game. I didn't get around to betting it because I got to be smart after, as I just mentioned before, blackjack can be a very lucrative and unlucrative sport, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Arizona State as a team, I got to talk to you guys. I wasn't sure. I didn't catch the end of Scott's opposite picks rant, but I watched these guys play. And how do you get in front of Arizona State, Dave? Like, I watched them, like when Joe Ranieri and I did the show on Saturday, they played Arizona in that rivalry game. Every drive, crisp, the way they tack, the way they're coached, smart, no penalties. Like, everything about Arizona State to me looks like awesome. But Iowa State, they're a tough team. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know how to get in front of the Sun Devils. I don't know what you guys think about this game, Scott, but I got to believe a lot of money's coming in on Arizona State, right?
Here's the problem, Cam. Their best wide receiver by far is out. He got hurt in the last game against Arizona. He's got 75 receptions for 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. The next leading receiver has 35 catches. That's a huge loss. I don't know how you. I can't lay
running back, Scott.
I know Scadaboo's pretty good.
Yeah, Cam Scadaboo. That guy's an animal. Like, and when he gets the ball, he runs hard. He reminds me of Pacheco, like when he played at Rutgers and now for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's got that same kind of like I want to hurt you type of attitude. So I don't know, Scott. I'm still down with the Sun Devils. NFL. I don't know how you guys feel about these games. I've had a disagreement with a lot of people. Thank God I was on Green Bay last night. Got the hook and the over. I was on the Browns game, Dave. That's how my trip started. I walked into the casino and I had the Browns live plus 8.5 and 6.5. My girlfriend looks at me. She goes, Cam, your face just went from purple like a wine to white. I go, she goes, what happened? I go, I kind of don't want to talk about it. She goes, what happened? I go, let's not talk about it. We'll go upstairs to the room and have a drink. We'll talk about it. Because I tried to teach her football. She's like, Scott, I'm sitting there going, like, worst case scenario. And then they get to the one and they do it again. I'm like, again? Yeah. I know. Oh, right. James Winston, he goes, oh, Lord, please stop letting me throw pick sixes. Yes, please stop throwing pick sixes. Anyway, that's on me for betting the Browns. But
NFL this week, I'm looking at Miami guys. I think the Dolphins, these are the type of games they win, divisional games against bad teams. Scott, I don't know how you feel about Miami, but I think I'm going to ride them this week. The Jets should have got murdered by Seattle too. Like they're just a horrible football team. And I'll even at a divisional game, I'll lay it. I'm on Seattle, but I've had a lot of sharps tell me that's the wrong side. But they're my team. I'm getting 2.5. They own Arizona. So I'm going to take the Seahawks, and I'm going to sprinkle on the money line there, guys. And I hate to say this, and I had a big disagreement with my boy Pete, that I'm in a pick 6 pool with, and we're doing pretty good. I like San Francisco, but he likes the Bears. I think San Francisco annihilates Chicago this week. That's me, but I don't know how you guys feel about that game. I know I got a couple favorites there, and I don't know what else to do with the rest of the games. Those are my 3. I have Seattle, San Fran, and Miami, and I'll lean to the Raiders.
Okay. I'm leaning Raiders too. Sunday night, it's, Kansas City and the Chargers. Cam, have you heard anyone really emphatically say they like the Chiefs?
Nope.
This
nobody.
is one of those. It's very strange.
Oh, Dave, it's a problem because I want to bet the Chargers, and you know me. Since whatever, Kansas City never covers. The 1 week I thought they were going to cover against the Raiders, they almost lost the game outright. They should have lost the game outright. Now nobody and their mother loves these guys. They're staying away from them like a bad flu bug. But This is the type of game Kansas City might win with a low spread. I will say this, though, Dave. I'm thinking about taking the Dallas Cowboys against the Bengals on Monday. I'm done with Cincinnati. I'm done.
Same.
I don't care. I don't care, Cincinnati. You can score all the points in the world. I am done with you.
5.5-point favorites on the road. They can't stop anybody. Save that for Monday. You see me in the Penn State stuff. Do you think Penn State has a chance tomorrow night, Cameron?
Yes, I do. The world's on Oregon, Dave, and that's good news for you and your Nittany Lions crew. Wetzel, opposite picks. Do you like Penn State, Scott, or no? Or did that one not make the card? Too big of a game.
Oregon. Love Oregon in the game. Love it.
Wetzel, I love you, buddy. I told you. You look great. You look young. Whatever that lighting is at the beach house, keep it up, Dave. Always a pleasure, guys. You guys have a good one. And, let's regroup some money and work some overtime next week. See you, everybody. Come on a Friday.
She was recruited to Oregon partially by, guess who? Mark Campbell and Xavi Lopez. They know what they're doing. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Campbell is one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in women's college basketball right now.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We got the NBA Cup going on. Not that anybody really cares per se about the NBA Cup. Now, I got to be honest with you. I actually did try to look of what does it mean like for the NBA Cup? Like who's playing for what here? And I lost interest and I gave up after about 30 seconds. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. There's NBA games.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back InGame Live. Game day here on the grid. Wrapping up shop. Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency, top of the hour for the next 3 here on SportsGrid Radio and TV. So let me run down the college football scores here for you. I throw some news and nuggets at you, Dave, with the NFL, including a pretty good Pittsburgh trend for you. But first up, college football. We got 38-12 early fourth quarter. Jacksonville State looks like they're going to win the Conference USA Championship, laying 29.5, if that strikes your fancy. Boise, they just started the third quarter, 21-0 over UNLV. Laying 21.5 and 44.5. And I got to tell you, if I was going to make a play, I think it would be Boise. I don't think UNLV is scoring here. And then we got Army leading Tulane 21-7. They've just begun the third quarter as well. I don't have those numbers, but I'm guessing Army's about a 10-point favorite or so, 10-point favorite. They get the football there to start the third quarter. So NFL, here's a good number for you with listen. You do enough research with Mike Tomlin, you're going to find some crazy things, right? So, First off, the Browns have lost 20 straight in Pittsburgh. So that's already strike number 1 against the Browns, which is just amazing. And then 2, I find this hard to believe, but okay. Apparently, Mike Tomlin has not lost twice to the same quarterback in one season. Jameis Winston beat him 2 weeks ago. They're facing him again. I imagine he's lost to teams twice in 1 year in the division, but for whatever reason, maybe it was a different quarterback, or maybe they just haven't. They've been that good. Maybe they haven't even lost to teams. But I'm guessing if that was the case, that they would say teams in this stat, not quarterbacks. But how weird is that? Is Jameis Winston about to break that streak? I don't think so. Well, I love Pittsburgh this weekend. If you don't want to put him in a T or a straight up minus the 6.5, Dave, I would definitely put him in a tease and get him down to basically pick him. They're not losing to the Browns again.
They're not losing to the Browns again. Let's just keep it real. I mean, it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. And the Steelers being good, like real good again. This has been a great football season. And it's all culminating in tomorrow with Penn State in a Big Ten championship game. I can't wait for that. And then Sunday, I mean, the 2-game parlay is Penn State. I mean, if you want to take a shot, money line. Just take Penn State money line and roll it to the Steeler money line. Get a little Pennsylvania parlay. I don't think you need to get Philadelphia involved if you'd like, but they're a gigantic money line, and they're playing the Carolina Panthers. My buddies here at Circa announced the biggest bet of the season, the biggest bet they've ever taken. Some guy, came into one of their properties in one of the states and laid 7-1. He put up $3 million to win $428,000 on Philadelphia to win the game. No points, no nothing. Seriously, what would be the biggest price like you would go up to where you feel comfortable like that? I mean, because the Steelers aren't losing. Minus 700 is 12.5, 13-point spread. Would you do it at like a 4? Is there a money line favorite you feel strongly about this weekend where you go, you know what? They're not losing.
Yeah, I mean, I played some crazy odds in tennis, right? With Joker in his prime, and then pick a guy. That I definitely done more than this, but I don't know. This Carolina Panther team has been playing well. They've covered 4 in a row. This is a major letdown spot for Philadelphia, and I know you don't get letdowns like you do in college sports in the NFL, but bottom line is it's not a good spot for the Eagles. They're coming off the monster win against Baltimore. They're still a game back.
They have the Steelers next week. They're 5.5-point favorites against the Steelers in Philadelphia as the look-ahead number. So there's a lot of things. I know whatever the price is on you to kick a field goal from 30 yards away, I'm laying it. I would lay the no. There is no way. I know Newbie said it.
No, you did it. You got to lay the yes.
I don't think so. What's the price?
You can have one. You can only have one. Penn State or Pittsburgh. Only getting one.
If I need an outright win?
Outright win. Who do you want?
There's
to win?
other
The other
games
team
in the
is losing.
Steelers season. We are Penn State. If you're giving me one, that's the only one. Oh,
You're
we're
already
getting the
in.
1 seed.
You don't need
We're
that.
getting the 1 seed.
Steelers need it
Win the
more
whole
than
thing.
Penn State does. Wow.
We are. Good job, boys.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you,